uploaded it. So of course tonight is our last class. We are taking it up all the way till 9 o'clock this evening. So what we're going to do is we are going to work through some examples, okay? And namely the October, November, um, yeah, October, November 2018 exam. Let me just bring that up quickly. But before we start, I just want to find out from you guys. I know that we didn't cover a lot of stuff, okay? What I will do is I will actually send you some of those notes. Yeah, what I will do is I'll send you some of those notes tomorrow. But importantly, yeah, we've got an exam now. It's actually some of the key questions. Yes, I know the online exam is going to be all multiple choice questions. But essentially, it's nice just if you need to practice. You need to practice. And yeah, so that's why I sent those through to you. But I just wanted to engage with you, some of you guys. Uh, see how many of you are here today. We've got a small class, eh? I see there's only 9 of us. Don't the guys like me? Um, see that the government has the tenants register in. Please fill that in. Let's engage with you guys, and even if it's such a small. Okay, so somebody CS is saying not a good reflection on him, not on you. Thank you very much for standing up for me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I think also a lot of people do realize that you know the recordings are going to be there, and that they can listen to it afterwards. So I think they may be using it as well. But with you engaging with me one on one and asking those questions, you know, yeah, and not hoping that somebody's necessarily going to cover that. So yes. So anybody can just put up their hands and let's have a nice discussion whilst I get the notes, the exam over here and put it up. Don't be shy, guys. Let's have a nice chat. This is our last class together. Eh? If you just wanted to make any comments, what you're particularly struggling with, um, yes. I should try and put this in up here. So tonight we're going to be, I just saw somebody put something in here. Have a look. So Jalina is saying, hi, I struggle with Unit 13 to Unit 15. Lauren Kaiser, hi, Gershon, the notes that Brian left in the chat. Do we need permission to access the notes? Um, no, not according to my knowledge, Lauren. She's going to pick up something else quickly. Lauren didn't. I'm sure Cameron sent it to you as well. And QB is saying, just reading the conversation inside over there. Queen is saying, I'm struggling on how to interpret the graphs. Screen. A lot of people, especially the demand and supply, the demand and supply graph. So included. Remember, guys, I have seen the ECS 1500 that exam through to you guys. Okay, and I know it's very old, it's 2016 paper, but please be that you look at the beginning parts of it, right? But really the stuff around part of those groups up to elasticity. Focus on that. So how we can modify things, and especially around that, what issues around that. Look at that paper as well. Okay. But if I had to say, you know, what is demand? What is the goal of demand? What are the terms of demand? And then of course, know that really for supply,
Hi, sorry, Gershwin.
usually.
I'm not sure if it's only me, but you're breaking up very badly. Perhaps it's my signal. I just want to make sure it's not just me.
Okay, so thank you for that, Jolene. You know, Colleen also saying that I'm breaking up. Yeah, let me just maybe try and put off. I think just let me pause quickly. Or let me just try and do something at home here quickly. I'll be back in 1 minute. Well, is that better? Is that a bit better? Okay, so yes, awesome. I think it was on the Netflix that I might have to pay what taxes on? Well, a TV license on. But anyway, let's not get into that. So as I was saying earlier on, I think it was somebody posed the question. I think it was Queen Masego Bokwana. In terms of interpreting the graphs, Queen, your starting points, these are the basics. You need to know that what demand is. I think I said demand, your law of demand, what is the determinant of demand. Similarly, what is supply? What is the law of supply? Right? What are the determinants of supply? And once you understand that, right, that's your base, that's your foundation that you're working from. And then from there, then you go through the changes, and it's not going to be that difficult. Okay. And go through those exams. There's a lot of examples that I've put in over there, especially at ECS 1500 2016 exam, because in the memo I did put, how I actually drew it. Okay, and the methodology. So say, for example, one very quickly, right? Remember the keywords here over here, right? Say, for example, we've got the price, one of the determinants. What are the determinants for demand? Right, is your income. It's the size of the household, market, population, right? It's the taste and preferences, which is influenced by advertising, okay? It's the price of related goods. Those all cause a shift, okay? The only one is of the good itself, it's going to cause a movement along the curve. So when you talk about price of related goods, what are we talking about? We're talking about substitutes and complements, okay? Substitutes and complements. Guys, there's change in demand, elasticities, it's definitely going to come in. We're going to start the exam off with economics, But anyway, I'm regressing now. So in terms of the terms of demand, all right, and the changes in demand, all right, and supply, all right. If your price, let's have an example of coffee and tea, right? If, and remember substitutes now, coffee and tea are substitutes. So it's either or. So remember what I drew for you previously. I said the price of coffee maybe increases. Then I directly related to the law of demand. So if the price of coffee increases, right, the quantity demanded of the coffee is going to decrease, right? And then remember I said to you, now, if your quantity demanded of your coffee is going to decrease, that means that it's either or. You're not going to take the both of them. So the quantity demand of the coffee is going to decrease. Your demand for your tea is going to increase. Okay? And when we say the demand of the tea is going to increase, that's a rightward shift of the demand curve of tea. It's a rightward shift, means increase. If it's a leftward shift, it's decrease. Okay? So that's very, very brief. Okay? So let's go over to this, and I want you guys to engage with me in this evening. Right? In terms of this paper over here, there's some questions over here. Right? And then let's work through it. It's not just going to be me talking the whole time. I want to ask you guys, and please don't be shy. Because remember, when you're sitting in the exam, nobody's going to be with you. Then you're going to try and go through your stuff and try and answer this. Right? Let's try and do a practice run over here. So I have sent the stuff to you already, but let's talk to it as well. Okay? So explain the concept of opportunity cost, making use of an example to illustrate your answer. Right? Would anybody like to start on this? Remember, this is exam prep now. Eh? So think of this as an exam. And don't let it be the same people, please. Jolene. And this, yeah. I know we're not a big class this evening, but let's engage and just talk to one another. And if you don't mind, also just putting your camera on so that I can see actually who I'm talking to, because it's not going to eat up all of your data. Do I need to repeat the question? They want to know what's opportunity cost, and then just to provide an example, and that's for 3 marks. Just speak to it on top of your head. You can go ahead, Jolene.
So the opportunity cost will be, if you make a choice, the best alternative that would be given up. So basically, if you have a piece of land, you have to choose between either putting up housing or putting up land to farm fruits and vegetables. So choosing between either the one, the choice that is given up is the opportunity cost.
That's correct, yes. It's the value to the decision maker of the best foregone opportunity. So essentially, it's a trade-off, and that is the opportunity cost, and you're 100% correct. So thank you very much for that. And then you can take your hand away, Jolene. Thank you. And then also, the next question is, name 2 factors that will decrease the supply of a good or service. So ideally, what we're talking about over here is, these are the determinants. Okay? Name 2 factors that will decrease the supply of a good or a service. Those are the determinants of supply, right? But to decrease supply. In other words, what I'm saying to you is that the supply curve is going to shift to the left. A decrease in supply is going to shift to the left. An increase in supply, shift to the right. So Taryn is saying the cost of the, no, sorry, it was the previous question. Labor strike. What are the determinants of supply, Taryn? I'm just going to maybe put it on the side over there if you don't want to talk. Martinez is saying wages, but what are they? Yes, wages is one of them. There we go. Cameron is right. It's the increase in the price of the factors of production. So the price of the factors of production is your wages, right? It's your capital. That is your natural resources, your land, or it's entrepreneurship. Those are your factors of production. So the prices of that, right? What is the remuneration or the price of labor? It's your wages, right? Labor's wages or salaries, right? In terms of capital, it's interest. In terms of entrepreneurship, it's profits, okay? And land or natural resources, it's economic rents. Okay, I don't know if you know, I probably have mentioned it before, right? Then there's maybe adverse weather conditions, like a drought, okay? Your supply curve is going to shift to the left. Of course, if you're going to have a drought, it's going to affect supply, okay? And the prices of other inputs, okay? And then also your state of technology declines. The state of technology declines. That's also going to shift your supply curve up and to the left. Okay. And then the next question is, so now we got on the diagram below, illustrate the impact of this decrease in supply on the equilibrium price and quantity, in equilibrium quantity. So what do you think is going to happen over here? Or maybe what you can do is practice at home. I'm not going to draw it because I've sent it to you already, but I don't want you to look at that stuff. Otherwise, it's defeating the purpose of it. What I want you to do is I want you to practice at home. Okay? So what is your vertical axis over here? What's the label of it? Right? Read it up. The question itself is going to give you clues. So it says on the diagram below, illustrate the impact of this decrease in supply on the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity. Now you're thinking to yourself, Coach, I don't need to draw this. Why are you asking me to draw this? Is there something wrong with this guy? Right? The reason why I'm asking you to draw it is so that because you practice it, right? When you see it, when you get the question yourself in your exam, quickly draw it. Don't look at the options over there. Yes, we're going to look at the options. But the point is, once you draw it, very quickly, it doesn't need to be a long story. Put in your labels. Okay, cool. Yes, right. Okay, now fine. Master plucker. Then you start drawing the stuff. And then afterwards, you look at your options over there because you might get confused. So rather draw it for yourself. And then you can make up your own mind because the options that they're going to give you, clearly three of them are going to be wrong. So you might just confuse yourself. Okay? So what do you guys think? Is your supply curve going to shift to the left or to the right? And what's going to happen to equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity? Let's maybe take 2 minutes of this. And if somebody just want to speak to it a little bit, please, you can say to me, the supply curve is going to shift to the right or to the left. and my equilibrium price is going to increase or decrease, and my equilibrium quantity is also going to increase or decrease. That's the key thing that I'm looking for over here. The first person, I think your hand went away now. Mutetswa. I hope I'm pronouncing your surname correctly. Let me just have a look in the participants over here. You had your hand up first, and then Lauren put her hand up after that. Yeah, in Mutetswa. I hope I'm pronouncing correctly. You can go ahead.
That's correct. It's Mutedzwa. That's my last name. My name is Nomusa. All right.
Hi, pleased to meet you.
Hi. The supply curve will shift to the left, and this will then push the equilibrium price to. Let me see. Oh, the supply curve will shift to the left, and then the quantity will also move inwards. It will be less, and then
Equilibrium quantity, yes.
yes, and then the equilibrium. What is this now? The equilibrium price will also move upwards. So in terms of, for example, if it's P1 E1 Q1, it will now become P2 E2 Q2. So there will be a shortage in excess
No, that's
demand.
perfect. I follow you. I follow you. Yeah, yeah. Don't talk about the excess demand side of it, eh? All you needed to do, yeah. You mentioned earlier on that. Thank you for that. Thank you very much for that. That the supply curve is going to shift to the left, and your equilibrium price is going to increase, and your equilibrium quantity is going to decrease. Okay, thank you very much. But of course, pardon, you're going to show it in the graph, in the diagram. Okay. And then there's the next question over here, and this is in the answer. I did actually make it quite long, but I wanted to give some initial narrative, or basically starting the story, so that when it comes to the answer, you basically understand what was going on. Okay. So the question reads: excess demand exists in the market for tomatoes. Excess demand exists in the market for tomatoes. Now, when you hear excess demand, it's clearly saying to you that the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied. Excess demand, there's a market shortage. Okay. Explain the adjustment process to the new equilibrium position in the market for tomatoes. Okay. So the answer that I have is when the quantity demanded is greater than the quantity supplied, there is excess demand or a market shortage at that particular price. Okay. When there is excess demand, firms sell their total production, but households do not obtain the quantity of the product which they would like to buy at that particular price. In an effort to obtain a greater quantity of the product, households bid up the price of the product. Okay. And they're okay with that. Right? They increase the price. While the firms realize that they can charge a higher price. As the price rises, the quantity supplied increases along the supply curve. Right? Existing firms produce more, while the quantity demanded falls along the demand curve. This process continues until equilibrium is reached, where the quantity demanded is equal to the quantity supplied. Okay. Now, similarly, they can talk to you about excess supply. They can say to you, excess supply exists in the market for tomatoes. Explain the adjustment process to the new equilibrium position in the market for tomatoes. Okay, so that is, and what you do is you go to the book, right? If you've got an e-copy of it, or if you do have the normal hardcover book, just look for excess supply, right? And then you write down the answer over there, and then you've got both of those answers over there, right? And you understand how to actually work that out, right? But in the case of excess supply, your quantity supplied is going to be greater than your quantity demanded. Okay. So what is the next question then? Right? Suppose we observe that the equilibrium price of a particular good has increased significantly over the past 5 years with virtually no change in equilibrium quantity. On the diagram below, illustrate the possible changes in demand and the supply. Possible, the giveaway over here is possible changes. All right? But changes in demand and the supply that could have led to the above outcome. Now you're thinking to yourself, oh my, what the heck is going on over here? All right? In your textbook, there are simultaneous changes in demand and supply. Right? They do like to ask this. Okay? So you need to study that. Right? I know it's a bit difficult to draw. I know it's a little bit difficult to draw, but you need to study that. Okay? So essentially, yeah, let's open this up a little bit. I want to find it from you guys. Let me see. I see some of these guys are putting in the chat over here. Okay, no, cool. Now Susan is asking to be put onto the WhatsApp group and the email list. Cameron, would you mind just adding her? And then yeah, so let's speak to this question over here. So what do you think is going to happen? Actually, no, you need to draw it. So there's 5 marks over here, right? You need to draw this. But importantly, let me show you quickly. So I'm going to go out of this. Right? Let me go out of that. I need to just find the book. And I want to show you guys something. Because I've got a sneaky suspicion that some of you don't know what I'm talking about at all. Can you see the book? Here we go. So simultaneous changes in demand and supply, right? Change in demand, change in supply, change in price, change in quantity. This is over here. Are you guys seeing this? Susan saying yes, thank you, can see, awesome. Awesome. So this is a change in demand. If it's increasing, of course, now shifting to the right, right? Change in supply, increasing, shifting to the right. You all know that, right? If it's decreasing, it's shifting to the left, right? The change in price is your equilibrium price. Change in quantity is your equilibrium quantity, okay? If you have both your demand and your supply increasing at the same time, simultaneous changes, all right? The change in your equilibrium price is going to be uncertain, but the change in your quantity is going to increase. Okay, so you're going to need to study these. Right? In the case of our example over here, this is what it looks like. Okay, they're telling you, they're saying to you, with virtually no change in equilibrium quantity. Okay, then it's a copy and paste of this over here. Okay, my equilibrium price increases, but as you can see over there, and you can actually try and practice to draw these, but some of them can. It is a bit higher grade at times. Okay, but it is doable. Okay, so now you know exactly what it looks like. Is there any questions on this? Is there no questions on this? If there's no questions, then just give me a thumbs up and we can continue. Guys, what I actually forgot to mention to you is that yeah, we're going to have 2 breaks. Okay. We're going to have one at 7:15, now at 7:30 for 15 minutes. And then an hour later again. We'll talk about the one after. Let's see how far we get. If we're going good, we're going at a good pace, we've covered everything, then we'll have another break. But other than that, maybe we'll just soldier on. But let's see how we go about it. Okay. Okay, awesome. So then the next question. The next question relates to this over here. So it says, use the following diagram to distinguish between consumer and producer surplus. Okay, this is only for 2 marks. So what you do is, yeah, how are we going to find that out, guys? This sounds like going to the textbook, right? And you know, answer from somebody. Who would like to give this a go? And guys, let me see your faces, man. You know, don't be shy, man. And yes, I know you guys want to be on the side over there. Now you see now Lauren is sticking her hand away now. But Lauren is fine. You don't need to show me your face. It's fine. But yeah, you can just maybe talk to it if you don't mind.
Hi, Gershwin. I'm just going to try there. So if you draw the equilibrium, the equilibrium lines, then, so P, I don't know what you would label that.
Equilibrium price. And
The equilibrium price, yeah, to the equilibrium down to the quantity. Then the top half, the PEO, not O, PEE1 or whatever, would be your consumer, and below that would be your producer surplus.
100%. Awesome.
I don't know. Yeah, it's difficult without drawing it.
No, it's fine. It's fine. But yeah, I've got it over here. I've got it. I don't know exactly what you're talking about. But thank you very much for that. Okay. We're gonna go to the next one. Yeah, this is a bit more tough. Okay. It says, and this is for 5 marks. So in the exam, in the question that I gave you, in the answer, I explained practically everything over there, so that you know exactly, if you do get a question like this, that you know how to answer everything about it. Okay. So the question reads as follows: use the following diagram to explain the concept of economic profit. What do we have here? Right. Oh, this thing is throwing me out the whole time. Don't know why my reception is so bad. Let me just put this up again. Can you all hear me again? Awesome, thank you, Colleen. Okay, here's the. Push this to the side. Finish asking me to do that earlier on. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Alright. I know I don't do too well, so please excuse that. Alright, there we go. So now let me make this a little bit smaller. Make it empty. See, essentially what I did over here was, right? This is your marginal cost curve. Marginal cost curve. And this over here is your average variable cost. Your average variable cost. Right? So you know that your average fixed cost and your average variable cost is going to equal to your average total cost or your AC. Right? This is actually your actual total cost, but it's actual the average cost, okay? Which is this one over here. Okay? Right? How do we work out the marginal cost? The marginal cost is equal to the change in my total cost divided by my change in my quantities. Okay. But anyway, I'm going to try and make this a little bit bigger over here. So what do I have? Right? I've got point A over here, B, C, D, and E. A, B, C, D, and E. Right? At price, PA, PB, PC, and P1 over here, which is the original, and Q1, right? And then C1 over there, just so you know what is there, and PE, right? E and then QE. So we got BC, I've got exactly, that's QB, QC, Q1, right? For P1, and QE for point E and PE over there, okay? So I'm saying to you the rising portion of the firm's marginal cost curve above the minimum of its average variable curve at point B is the firm supply curve. Right? Above point B is the curve's supply curve, the firm's supply curve. Above point B, right, where your marginal cost is greater than the average variable cost, that is the firm's supply curve. Note that, right? If the price is PA over there, you can think already if it's below the firm supply curve, or is the firm going to supply anything, right? Because you read that already. If the price is PA, the firm will not produce at all. If the price is PB, right? PB over here, right? PB, the firm will be at its close down point, point B, and it's immaterial if it shuts down or continues producing, right? If the price is PC over here, right, which is above average variable costs, but below the average costs, okay? If the price is PC, the firm will minimize its economic losses by producing a quantity QC, okay? If the price is PC, the firm will minimize its economic losses, right, by producing a quantity QC. PC producing quantity QC, so it's minimizing its economic losses, right? So now, when we come to your P1 over your point D, okay? If the price is P1, and that is at point D over there, right? Maybe make it this a little bit But you can see, if the price is P1, the firm will make normal profit. In other words, it's going to break even at point D over here. At price P1 and quantity Q1 and corresponding quantity Q1, reducing quantity Q1, it's going to make normal profit. In other words, it's breaking even. Right? Okay. If the price is PE at point E over there, corresponding quantity, producing quantity QE, the firm will maximize economic profit and reduce quantity QE. Right? Why is that? Because it's above. Right? Here at the bottom over here, this point, normal profit breaking even, it's hitting the average cost curve at its minimum. Okay? Over here, it's higher than your average costs at point E over there. Okay? Because remember, your price is also your average revenue and your marginal revenue. Remember that your price is your average revenue and your marginal revenue, your AR and your MR. So I'm going to say that over here, right? So here, this narrative on the far right-hand side over here, this text on the far right, what does it say? PE is the market price, which is equal to the firm's average revenue and marginal revenue. Profit is maximized where your marginal revenue, in other words, your price at PE is equal to your marginal cost. Okay, profit is maximized where profit is maximized, right? Profit is maximized with your marginal revenue, in other words, PE is equal to your marginal cost. Right? This occurs at the quantity of QE. At QE, the firm AR or average revenue or PE is greater than its average cost. The firm then makes an economic profit per unit of production, PECE. Okay. Is there any questions on that? Colleen, you're welcome to go ahead. Sorry, I didn't see your hand. But slow, yeah.
So, no, don't worry. So when you actually made this, you did your own PE.
That's correct, yes.
Right. And I just want to double check why did you go back?
Yeah, what I'm going to do is, while you're talking, I can actually pull it up over here. So from 1 to 10, let's do this. 10.4, 10.4. Let's look in the textbook. Continue. Want to go back to the other one.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can understand why your line PR gets off to the right and gets to the point E if that curve starts there, and where you've got your connectors. So EDB is where your lines have connected, but why have you?
Say that again.
So I can see where you've got your connectors. So the ACV starts at PR, and you've got a line running through to E, and then you've got a point there. And gone away again.
Oh, sorry, man. I thought, let me just, while you were talking, I was going to look for that for the other graph. So apologies about that, Colleen. Here's it.
Is this a slightly different textbook?
This is the economics for South African students. This is the Moore book. So exactly what I'm saying over here, right? Particularly focusing on the economic profit. Here's the normal profit, right? And this is the economic loss. So this is the B is the break-even point, right? The economic part, which I makeshifted to my little thingy over here. But if this is clearer, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm saying is this is what I'm trying to highlight. That this is what I actually did over there. So I want you to see that at this point over here, which in my little graph, right, is the point E, right? This E1, that is where my marginal revenue equals my marginal cost, right? And this shaded area over here, this shaded area is where that is your economic profit. Okay.
Not sure
So
if I'm
does this
getting
make more? Does
I'm not
this make
sure.
more sense? Okay, let's go.
Honestly,
Let's go back. To,
so if you go
right?
back, so if
Yes.
you're given this blank, right, you've mapped A, B, C, D, E on here as points in your graph, right? And you're running your lines right and then down. Can I assume that you would run PE would run up, basically be the line from ACV closest to the y-axis, p-axis, whatever, P. That's where your line would run off to the right and then run down to Q. And then where it coincides with your point D is where you'd run to the right and run down. And I can see.
Sorry, Colleen. Can I just? What are you trying to show over here? Are you trying to show the shaded area which highlights economic profit?
I'm trying to figure out. So you get your points of intersection between the different marginal cost, actual cost, and average cost.
Okay.
Which is B and D. That's where the only things where they connect, right?
Can I maybe just interject, right? The only one we I want you to focus on is the economic profit, and that is PE to E over here, right? Where it hits the average cost curve, and then it goes across to C1. So that is why it's PE to C1 over here. I maybe made a mistake with the CE over there. It should be C1. And that shaded area is depicting, right, your economic profit. Similarly to this one over here, right? Look where it hits the average cost curve. So this shaded area over here, P1C1, like or P1E1MC1, that shaded area over there is the economic profit. And similarly, I'm trying to do it over here. That's the key thing that I'm trying to highlight over here. Does that make more sense?
Yeah, that's I'll get that. Cool. I was just trying to figure out how you got C and A because this was a 5-pointer and you
C&A.
seem to you were
No,
coming
no.
up with stuff
Okay,
and
okay. No. What I did was, right? I put this in here as extra information for you. That's all.
sorry, that confused me.
No, it's fine. That the answer is this over here.
Okay.
But I put the other stuff in here as extra. In other words, this is not going to be produced at all. B is the start of your the firm supply curve, right? B is where you're gonna the other gonna shut down or they're gonna produce. They're gonna continue producing, right? C over here is when you're minimizing economic losses. D is where you're earning normal profit or your break-even point, and E is where you are having economic profit. And that's the key thing that I'm trying to highlight. So if they ever ask you anything regarding similar, then you know exactly what's happening for what over here. But if I had to use the book, this is exactly what they're saying over here. Let me just scroll down. I think it is over here, just below. Here's it. So this little section over here, figure 10.5, the supply curve of the firm. Right? That's exactly it. And I could have just put this over here, but I just tried. I actually wanted to just put in the rest. I see. Yes, Martinez, you're welcome to go ahead.
Good evening. I just wanted to find out this Economic for South Africa students book that you're using. As far as I have it, we don't have a prescribed book. You needed to download your study guides, and you had one and study guide 1 and study guide 2. So I think that's why Colleen and myself is a bit thrown here, because you keep on getting back to the Economics for South Africa book, and we sitting and struggling trying to get back to the downloaded study guide and to reference that same point. Thank you.
No, thank you for that comment. Just remember when I started the class, I said to everybody, right? One of my comments was, and you guys are going to do ECS 1601 as well. Please utilize every single resource at your capability, that you are allowed, that you can do. If you got data, please write this down, right? Econ Dal Plus, that guy's excellent. He's a UK guy. Go on YouTube and search over the Econ Dal, ECON DAL PLUS, Econ Dal Plus. Google yourself to crazy, but your first point of call, some of his stuff is maybe 10 minutes long, but he explains it beautifully. Hold on, guys, before I see a lot of hands, I'm just going to say this to you, okay? So the Economics for South African Students is a resource that you use in addition to your study guide. Your study guide, maybe most of it comes actually from Economics for South African Students, right? So please just bear that in mind. Okay. Jolene, you wanted to say something? And then to, I note your two hands, and then to Martinez. But first, Jolene.
Hi, Gershwin. I just want to say that if Martinez is on the Telegram group, all the files is uploaded there. So you don't have to buy the book. The economics book is uploaded there. And I understand that some of the students don't use the textbook because, first of all, it's already a lot to work through. And even if you work full time, there's not enough time to work through the textbook as well. But the textbook does explain a lot more in depth to the study guide.
No, thanks for that. And Martinez?
Between 2 and 3 in the morning, there might be time to go and watch YouTube videos for Econ Delta Plus. But the other times, it's study guides, it's assignments, it's work, it's the reality of life. So yeah, I hear you, and it's the best to have and go after all resources available. Sure, fair enough. But time is sparingly, and it's a unique resource that you can't go get nowhere else. So yeah, thanks for the info.
No, thanks for that. When I went to, I did my undergrad in 2000. Then and it's not a long story, but yeah, all I want to try and get you at, when I had a 6-year gap between my honors and my masters. The mistake I made was I didn't finish off my honors, and I did it in 2003 or 2004. I think 2003, and I think I had a 6-year gap, and all I had to do was a mini thesis. And, life happens. And when it took me a month to finish that mini thesis off, and I graduated. And I said to my now wife, okay, listen, I'm going to go ahead and finish off my masters. And I went to Stellenbosch, got a scholarship, blah, blah, blah. Need to go study. And I'm sitting with, I was maybe early 31 or 32 at the time. And I'm sitting with a lot of young people, and I'm like, okay, a little bit older, yes, but the mistake that I made initially over here, those guys were very tech savvy, and they went on the internet and with it just. So I'm saying to you now, some of the older people within the group over here, please utilize your resources. And when I say that, right, it's with all due respect, and I don't want anybody to misconstrue or misunderstand what I'm saying over here. I will also fall into that. So, for example, what I did earlier on, right? Here's a textbook. If you try and get everything that you can in an e-book, e-copy. Look here, Control F. What am I looking for? I'm looking for something silly. Let's say changes in demand and supply. So when you're doing, the reason why I'm saying, and let it go now into your next classes as well. If you are doing assignments and you get stuck, poof, you press that, you look for the stuff, okay? You utilize this, okay, fine. I got my study guide, and I know you're doing multiple things together at the same time, right? You utilize your YouTube because those guys explain it. I mean, I've been for classes at times and I maybe forget something, right? I just listen to while I'm driving and I listen and poof, I've got it again. That Econtal Plus guy explains things very, very well. So now look at, okay, changes in demand. I press yes, next, enter until I find the stuff that I'm looking for. There we go. So use Google. Press in over there. If, say, for example, the question is something silly, right? Then they give you explanations over there. Try and make your life a little bit easier. And that's all I'm trying to say. Okay. But if there is no other questions, let me just see quickly. Colleen said, so when we're revising, should we preferably revise with that textbook rather than the study guide? I'm not saying that. You guys will get me into big, big trouble over here. That lecturers are going to listen to this call and they're going to say, Kirshen, what are you saying? No. Your first point of call is the study guide because that's prescribed. Okay. Then you use the textbook and every additional resource as supplementary. But I'm saying to you, there's a study guide. Now go look on in the textbook using the Control F over there, and I search for stuff. So what I'm reading over here is supplemented by what I'm seeing in the textbook. So it helps me to understand it a bit better. Then I maybe go and Google something as well. I check wherever I can for things to help me. Yes, Martinez. After Martinez, we're going to have a 10-minute break, all right? And then we're going to come back again. Yes, Martinez, you're welcome to unmute.
Thank you very much, Gershon. Much appreciated for that info for the 6-year gap. I had a 16-year gap, and I'm getting back into it now after the kids is out of school, and now I have time. Not that I have money, but I have time now. So understood. But just for this now, and being so close to the exams and doing a study exam paper and trying to explain that, why throwing in now the African study book? Why can't we just default to the study guide, please? And not being rude, not taking nothing away. Thank you very much for the much needed info and the Econ Delta Plus YouTube link. Thank you very much for all that. But can't we just maybe just default back to the study guide and then work through the exam paper and default back to the study guide? Because now for 15 weeks I've been sitting here as a night owl working through my study guide, and now I'm reviewing my first MST meeting and the exam paper and understand the importance of everything. But now we're not working out of the study guide, which we've all studied for the last, if you're lucky, 15 weeks, or otherwise you had 12 weeks or 10 weeks. So is it possible maybe, or
maybe I'm Martinez, maybe I'm misunderstanding you now. So you saying I need to work out the study guide, but I'm working through exam questions, but I'm going to a textbook to get an answer to help you to understand. So, and I can tell you honestly, that they probably use the study guide, the Moore book, to write up the study guide. So I don't, and maybe I'm missing you a little bit because it's the study guide is a study guide. The answer is the answer.
Gershwin,
Yes.
sorry if I may interrupt. The marginal costs and average costs, all of those information will be in the MyUNISA study guide from Unit 13 to Unit 15. That is where they start. That is my biggest struggle as well. So I know it's definitely in there. The problem is they don't explain it in depth. I think that is also why I don't grasp it that well. So I will also be using the textbook. I'm going to send the textbook on the chat now, so that Martinez can also get it.
Yes, I think Martinez is so I'm gonna mention this to you guys before. Okay, there's another company that I work for. So I've actually authored certain modules and use certain things. This economics for economic students is the resource that everybody goes back to. Yes, the Moore also does an economic indicator book, but I'm going to say to you, every single study guide, everything, it doesn't matter. I'm not mentioning names of companies now. They're always going to go back to that, to the Philip Moore books. Okay. So whatever I'm doing over here now, you don't need to stress and worry yourself. Okay. I know that things are tough, but just try and relax a little bit. Take things in, go through the stuff, and if you get stuck, try and use every resource that you can so that you do understand it. Okay. If in terms of marginal cost and yeah, so what you do is you maybe go and Google that, you go into YouTube and you listen to this guy. So what, pardon me, so when I'm saying you're listening to the guy, what you do is you got that playing in the background, right? And please, I know some people can't multitask, but you got that playing in the background and then you're reading your other stuff over here. So you're listening, but you're also reading and you're trying to understand, blah, blah, blah. But do what works for you. Things work for different people, okay? But yeah, I'm gonna leave it over there. Let's have a small 10-minute break. Let's have a comfort break and then come back and then we're gonna continue with some of the other questions. But we need to move a little bit faster now. Okay, is everybody happy with that? Are you happy, Martinez? Looks like Martinez wants to scalp me tonight
Yes,
about
thank you,
using the book.
Mr. No, hard feelings,
I'm
no,
teasing.
I'm just, maybe 16 years is a bit long before exams now, and you need to do it online and get around all Control F and finding and YouTube, and your handwriting is a bit
Yeah, no,
skew and bad, so
it was a bit rush, but
yeah,
it was done with
but
love.
now thanks for the feedback. We'll definitely allocate more time to more resources, and then from now on forward, I'll take your advice and go to the more and free study guides rather than to the normal study manuals, and cross-reference that back to the study guide, like Colleen mentioned now, to get more info and more workable back into your head during your 15-week prep for your exam. Thanks.
Okay, it's a pleasure. Let's get back at let's do 10 minutes and come back at 10 to 8. Thank you, guys. Hi all. So Jeline posed a question earlier on, and I thought let's actually just go through this again. So I did, I think in one of the previous classes I did actually go through this. I might be incorrect. Yeah. So ideally, what I'm trying to show over here is, and they do ask this in the exam, so you're gonna have to work it out. Okay. So normally when they give this to you, right, they're not gonna give this to you. So let's hide this with you, right? They normally, and then they blank out. So you need to work it out. In the exam question, they didn't make it very difficult. So I had to go to that quickly. It's this question over here. I need to click for it. Pardon. The one on top over here is your weighted marginal utility. Okay, but we're going to work that out when we get to that again. Because they are going to ask you a question on this. They're also going to give you this over here. Okay? So in this question over here, right, what you have, you've got 1 over there. Right? These were blank, so I'll have to work them out. Okay? So you can revert back to the exam paper. Okay? The first line, all the same. So essentially, if I had to revert back to the Excel spreadsheet, right? You can see over there, I just added this in. Just to highlight to you, right? Total cost is still going to remain the same, it's 100, right? If my output increases by 1 and my total cost is 110, right? My marginal cost, right? What is the formula for that? Okay, it's going to equal to my marginal cost, and please write this down, right? And when I'm saying marginal cost, if you see the word marginal, it just means extra. The extra cost, right, of producing an additional unit. Okay, marginal, extra, additional, right? Let's insert. I'm going to look for that symbol now. Right, if it will allow me to. Symbol. And I'm looking for change over here. Here we go. Okay, my change in my total cost divided by my change in my quantity. In my quantity, right? That is, and what is average cost? Yes, all this, yeah, all of the others do have it over there. So here is the formulas on top over there. So what am I doing, right? I'm saying to you, so once you've worked that out, right? All I'm doing over there is marginal cost is my change in my total cost divided by my change in my quantity. So remember, your quantities are changing by 1 every time, an additional unit. Okay, so that is going to be 1 every single time. So all I'm doing is I'm saying what is the change between, from here 110 minus my 100 divided by 1 minus 0, and it's 10. Similarly, as 130 minus my 110, which gives me 20, divided by 2 minus 1, which is 1. If it's 20 divided by 1 is 20. So what all I'm essentially doing over here, I'm saying the difference between this and that. Okay, that's how I'm working out my marginal cost. Right? My average fixed cost. Okay. And it's a bit difficult now because I don't know what was given in here and what wasn't. But essentially, if I had to go back to the exam, right? Here I'm saying, and normally I put in a 0 over there, and I put 0, 0, 0, right? But your first line is the same, okay? So now, what did I do? I see units of labor, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. My total product over there is increasing, right? But remember, diminishing marginal returns is setting in. So it's increasing, but at a decreasing rate, okay? Then your average product over there is simply my total product divided by my units of labor. Okay, so it's the 45 divided by 2 is 22.5. Okay, and in terms of, and here's this is exactly the formulas that you're utilizing to get your answers. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Is there any questions on that? Or ideally, let's do this. Where's the exam? Right, what question was that? That was question 26 and 27. So Jolene, is this part of the stuff that you are struggling with? Because remember, your total cost, the formulas are just going to look exactly the same, right? But you want to practice with this one quickly. Jolene?
Hi, Gershwin. I am going to be honest, I'm totally lost at this unit. So I will rather, if you want to explain it to the other students, it's appreciated, but otherwise I will work through it on my own time and not waste the other students' time.
Okay. No, that is fine. But what you're saying is that you are struggling with it.
Indeed, I am.
What I'm going to do for you is, I see you, I acknowledge your hand, Martinez. I just want to make a point quickly. What I am going to do is, like for example, this over here. I'm going to mail that through to everybody. Then you can also work through this and see the formulas that I used, right? You also have the exam that I've seen through and work through that. Okay. I'm going to move over to you, Martinez. You can unmute.
Yes, thank you, Gershwin. Again, now we're working out of Excel and formulas need to be put in. I want to reiterate my point. For 15 weeks, I worked out of a study guide. And now I'm joining MS Team meeting. It's costing me money on data and we're not working through my study guide. Can we please default to the study guide? And specifically this section as well, same as Jolene, I'm also lost here. So I would like specifically see, go through the study guide, explain as per the study guide, and then we take it from there. Thank you.
I'm working through different, I think maybe the two of us might be losing one another in the sense that Jolene raised the point, and remember, this is the exam prep, eh? So what I'm doing is, and maybe you because I did notice you came in a little bit late, Martinez. This is the last class. So essentially what I'm doing now is I'm actually just going through the exam. And this is one of the questions in the exam that I actually worked out this morning and I forwarded through to you earlier today. So I'm not going through, this is the last class. Other than that, yeah. So that is why I'm working through the exam paper that I sent you guys today. Hey, Martinez?
Noted. Thank you, Gershwin.
Sure. Thank you very much. So just hearing what you guys said to what Jolene said to me now, she's going to work through some of the goodies by herself, right? And now I need to take direction from you guys now. Okay, because I see that I am sensing some confusion over here, and I just need to reiterate to some of the people that joined a bit late. We are doing an exam prep this evening. So I forwarded everybody via email. I've sent everybody the exam that I worked through. But what I am doing is I'm going through the questions and I'm asking you to talk to it. But at the same time, you've got the exam memo with you, right? But it's about us engaging through it. Pardon? And remember, I think you're writing either the 24th or the 25th of November. So you still have time to go through the stuff, right? But that's why I thought it's instead of me just going through through some of the notes now, let me rather go through an exam, given that this is the last day. So I need you guys to just say to me now, Gershon, thank you for this, but that will actually add more value. So I need some direction from you guys now. So if it's in your hands, or you want to just mention in the chat on the side over here, because end of the day is about adding value for you, and that you actually drawing out some good golden nuggets from the conversation that we're having tonight. Thank you for that, Cameron. So Lauren is saying going through the exam. Yes, Jill. Okay, so yeah, I see you muted again.
I'm sorry, Gershwin. Can you perhaps just scroll up quickly for me, and then just hover on the first, if you scroll up on the Excel sheet quickly. Just hover on D3. I just want to see what that formula is for D3, how that is worked out.
So it's B11 divided by A11.
Oh, okay, see, it's the bottom figures. Will you perhaps just send that also on the group, please?
Yeah, sure.
Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. Okay. So I did mention I will mail that through to you guys. Okay. I'm just reading to Susan's. Yeah. Okay. So people are saying let's just go through the exam, because there is a lot of other questions that we need to still get through. Okay. So the next question reads as follows, right? Use your knowledge of price elasticity of demand to explain why a decrease in the price does not necessarily lead to a decrease in total revenue. Okay. Use your knowledge of price elasticity of demand to explain why a decrease in price does not necessarily lead to a decrease in total revenue. Okay. So here, this first little part is essentially what I'm saying is just some background that actually leads to the answer over there. Okay. So what I'm saying is, if a seller decides to increase the price of a product and finds that his total revenue or her total revenue ends up increasing because he or she is selling more, the demand for this product must be inelastic. It's insensitive to price increases. Okay. In a similar vein, if the seller decides to decrease the price and finds that his total or her total revenue is not necessarily decreasing, right? The reason for this is because he or she is selling more of the product. The demand for this product must be elastic. Okay? So I'm saying if the seller decides to decrease the price and finds that his total revenue, his or her total revenue is not necessarily decreasing, the reason for this is because he or she is selling more of the product. Selling more of the product. And when we look at elastic products, you can think of bread, right? So yeah, I hope everybody is fine with that. If there is any questions, you can just put it on the side over there. Some PUA. Yeah, I see. Personally appreciate this lesson, being watching the previous lessons in my own time. I have not caught up with all the classes, but saw it fit to attend this online. If possible, can we do another question paper next week? Unfortunately, this is the last class. That's why it's actually so long. Okay, I see Martinez has got another. Martinez, you're welcome to unmute.
Thank you, Gershwin. Can we just see your screen? We're still on the Excel page. Thank you.
Can you see it now?
No, not yet, Gershwin. Still on the Excel spreadsheet.
Can you see?
The Excel is gone. There we can see you. Hello, Gershwin.
No, can you see with myself also? I'm also yeah, with this MS Teams.
I can see you now. Now you can't see me. Now you see me. Oh, there we go. There we go. Thank you.
There we go. Awesome. So this was the question. Use your knowledge of price elasticity of demand to explain why a decrease in the price doesn't necessarily lead to a decrease in total revenue. So the answer is exactly that we see the mark allocation. Okay, so I'm going to carry on now, but essentially what I want to do is I just want to yeah, where did I saw it? Let me just try and move that. If I can't rotate it. Apologies for this. Let's see if I can't rotate it. I'm trying to rotate view. Let's go counterclockwise. There we go. Suppose the cross elasticity of demand for product A and product B is minus 0.25, right? And we know with cross elasticity of demand, what are we trying to show? Whether things are substitutes or complements. That's the question that they're posing. All right? Explain the type of goods that product A and product B are based on the cross elasticity of demand. So the cross elasticity of demand coefficient, I didn't put in coefficient over there, for product A and product B is negative. So it's negative 0.25. This indicates that product A and product B are complements. Had it been positive, in other words, had the coefficient for the cross elasticity of demand for these two products, had it been positive, the products would have been substitutes. Okay. And let's just go back again. And then here I've got some of the multiple choice questions. But let's just, before we get to these, there is some, and I took the May-June 2018 paper, and then I worked, there was 2 questions over there we had to draw. And the one will speak to Queen's question that she posed earlier on about changes in demand, right? So over here they ask, use the following diagram to show the effect in the equilibrium price and quantity of wine if the main wine producing area of a country experiences a severe drought. Remember to label your diagram. So this is marked, it's 3 marks, right? But you need to, yeah, of course now you don't need to label because the test is online. But as I mentioned earlier on, what you can see happening over here, right, is that in 2018, you guys know that the Western Cape, or yeah, most of South Africa was experiencing adverse weather conditions. We had a drought. So what happened was, yeah, with natural disasters such as a drought, it will have a negative effect on supply. In other words, supply is going to decrease. Okay, with supply decreasing, you're going to see a leftward shift of your supply curve. In the case of this picture over here, or this graph, right? Your supply curve shifting from SS to S1, right? That's a leftward shift. Now, what should happen with your equilibrium? You're going to have your equilibrium price increase from PE to PE1, and your equilibrium quantity decrease from QE to QE1. It's supposed to be a 1 over here. Okay. And then there's another question. right? So it says a recently published article in a medical journal on the health benefits of drinking tea. So I'm not going to show the answer now. I actually want us just to briefly talk to this. A recently published article in a medical journal on the health benefits of drinking tea led to a large increase in the consumption of tea. Use the following diagram to show the effect on the equilibrium price and equilibrium quantity of coffee if coffee and tea are close substitutes. A recently published article in a medical journal on the health benefits of drinking tea led to a large increase in the consumption of tea. Right? So of course now demand for tea increased. Right? Use the following diagram to show the effect on the equilibrium price and quantity of coffee if coffee and tea are close substitutes. Remember to label your diagram. Alright, if you can maybe just take 2 minutes over there and just think about, just draw it quickly. Right? Your first point of call is, okay, fine, you know that tea, the demand for tea is increasing. Right? The quantity demanded of tea is increasing. Which possibly means maybe due to what happened over there. Now that's through advertising. Right? A medical journal on the health and benefits of drinking tea led to a large increase in the consumption of tea. Right? So your quantity demanded, your demand increased for tea. What happened to coffee? Would anybody like to give this a go? Sure, Taryn. So coffee shifts to the left. Okay. So if coffee shifts to the left, is that Colleen, is that the demand or the supply? Coffee quantity demand decreases. I'm talking about the demand curve now, or the supply curve. So Jolene is saying supply will shift to the left. Demand will, okay, Terence says demand will shift right in tea. It will only move along the curve for coffee. So, Colleen, you spot on. Terren, the only thing that creates a movement along the curve is when the price changes. Okay. So yeah, and then I see Jolene saying coffee supply will shift to the left. So remember in this case, right? Let me go back to the to the answer over here. So over here, the demand for tea, I've got the D, which denotes demand for tea is increasing. Remember, these are substitutes. So it's either or. Either I'm going to consume tea, all right, or I'm going to consume coffee. That's either one of them is going to beat the other, all right? It's not both of them. It's either or, okay? So with the demand for tea increasing, in other words, the demand curve for tea is shifting to the right. Just picture that, right? So of course now you're going to have the demand for coffee decreasing. With the demand for coffee decreasing, you're going to have a leftward shift of the demand curve for coffee, right? Shifting to the left, it's decreasing, right? And look, I labeled it price of coffee, quantity of coffee, okay? I've got my initial demand curve denoted by DD, my initial supply curve SS at equilibrium point E with the corresponding equilibrium quantity of QE and corresponding equilibrium price of PE, right? With my leftward shift of my demand curve, My demand curve now goes to D1, D1 at a new equilibrium point called E1. All right. Now I got a new equilibrium quantity QE1 and equilibrium price PE1. All right. So my equilibrium price has decreased from PE to PE1. My equilibrium quantity has decreased from QE to QE1. Right? Does that make sense now? You can just give me a thumbs up, or if you're getting confused, you can maybe just put your question in the meeting chat. Okay, awesome. Whilst we're here, let me pose this question. So I'm not going to give the answer. I'm going to read it again because this is actually a very good question. Suppose the income elasticity of demand for overseas travel is 2.5, and the income elasticity of demand for bread is 0.35. Explain why Kafayat, the owner of a travel agency, would be more concerned about the low economic growth forecast given by the Minister of Finance in his annual budget speech than Lindiwe, the owner of a bakery. Right? Explain why that owner of a travel agency would be more concerned about the low economic growth forecasts given by the Minister of Finance, right? Relative to Lindiwe, the owner of a bakery. So you need to look at these numbers, and it's 3 marks, right? So you can see over here that overseas travel has an income elasticity of demand coefficient of 2.5, right? And the income elasticity of demand for bread has a coefficient of 0.35. Now, remember when we went through elasticity, and I said to you, with that, right, you want to determine if it's positive, pardon, it is a normal good. If the income elasticity of demand coefficient is negative, it's an inferior good. So positive, normal good, negative, inferior good. All right? But remember, in the normal good dichotomy or classification, right, you have what? You've got 2 subcategories. All right? You have an essential good, and then you also have a luxury good. Okay? So a luxury good is when it's greater than 1, when the coefficient is greater than 1. And the essential good is when it's positive, but less than 1. But why is it important? So I've given you most of the answer already, but there's one more mark, right? Why does that owner of a travel agency, why is he or she more concerned about the low economic growth forecasts? Does anybody have an answer? Thank you for that, Colleen. Yes, travel is a luxury good, and bread is an essential good. Put that rather not necessity, rather say an essential good. Right? Travel is a luxury good, and bread is an essential good, because in terms of the bread being greater, being positive but less than 1, the coefficient over there, right? And the luxury good, the coefficient, the income elasticity of demand coefficient is greater than 1, right? Just in terms of Lauren's answer, Lauren, we are talking about the income elasticity of demand. We're not talking about price elasticity of demand, right? When you get the answers, in terms of the definition, right? It's a change in your income divided by, right? It's a percentage change in your income divided by the percentage change in your price. Okay, so does it make sense, Lauren? And I see Colleen said low economic growth is equal to less revenue generated Yes, that is correct. But just try and think to your mind, you know, for luxury goods, right? You need high economic growth rate. Now, more people, if we have high economic growth rates, meaning there's more economic growth or economic activity, let me rather put it that way, right? People are making money. The economy, the country is making money. Okay, so there's going to be more people that will be able to actually afford. And remember, now ceteris paribus, everything else being equal, right? Relatively more people that can afford those luxury goods like overseas travel, and that is the linkage that the how I would like you to actually draw that linkage and actually just put the two together. Okay. And then Jolene said, when income decrease, you still need to eat, and which means people will buy this even if a price change, but travel is greater one, and people will cut down on luxury goods. Okay, low economic growth, money will be spent on necessities. Okay, so yes, you guys are getting closer. You're getting closer. Just the last little bit over there. So demand for luxury goods such as overseas travel. Let me just make this a little bit smaller. This last little bit. Demand for luxury goods such as overseas travel is positively correlated to greater levels of economic activity or economic growth. Hence, that travel agency owner would be more concerned if there is low levels of economic growth. Okay, I hope that makes more sense. And then, which one? Let me just see what question is this. No, I did explain that already. So I'm actually more, and I need to go the other way. So Jolene, here's another question. Okay, that I filled in. And this is the average readable cost. I know that you're getting confused by it, but I did put in the answers over there, so you can actually work through that, eh? Now, even what's the name for time, I need to these little ones. I think they let me speak to it, right? Let me speak to it, and then you do have the recording that you can actually go through again. You can peruse. You have it at your disposal. Okay. So I'm going to go through question 25, 26, 27, 28, and the rest of these over here. These are some of the multiple choice questions. Okay. So I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. So now you've got this table in front of you and you're thinking, oh my Lord, what is going on over here? Right? Just sit and think to yourself. Right? When is the consumer going to be in equilibrium? Right? When the weighted marginal utilities for all the goods are the same. The weighted marginal utilities for all the goods are the same. Right? Now the question reads, right? This is question 25 is based on the following data about Eric's consumption of coffee and tea. Okay? Coffee and tea is two goods. Here's the quantities. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? If Eric's income is 28 Rand and the price of coffee is 6 Rand and the price of tea is 4 Rand, how many cups of coffee must he buy to reach maximum satisfaction? Maximum utility. Utility is a degree of satisfaction. All right? Whenever you see the word utility, just think of satisfaction. Okay? So now, like I said to you, what is the weighted marginal utility? Is my marginal utility divided by my price? It's the every Rand spent. So what are they saying to me? The price of coffee is 6 Rand. I can see 6 Rand over here. So I know I need to, for coffee, I need to use this. This one over here, my weighted marginal utility for at 3 Rand is not speaking to the question. The question says, if his income is 28 Rand and the price of coffee is 6 Rand and the price of tea is 4 Rand, how many cups of coffee must he buy to reach maximum satisfaction? Okay, so what did I say earlier on? The weighted marginal utilities for each good needs to be equal. And where is that happening? Right, at the price of 6 rand for coffee and at the price for tea of 4 rand. So my weighted marginal utilities are equal. I see 4 and 3 over there, and 4 and 3. That's why I circled them. Not 8 or 10. That is where it's 3 rand for coffee. So I'm leaving it out. I'm not focusing on it because the question over here reads that way. So 4 and 3 and 4 and 3. All right? So what I do now, and I want you guys to listen to me nicely and pay attention over here because some people are going to get this wrong. Okay? I know for 4 and 3 and 4 and 3. So it's a combination of each. So my first combination could be, right? Luckily, I chose the right one first time around. Okay. So I'm going to do the first one where I see all the 4s. All right. At my 4 for coffee, I'm consuming 2 units. I'm consuming 2 coffees. What's my price of coffee? It's 6 rand. That's my first line over there. Right? At 4, my weighted marginal utilities equals to 4 for both goods. 4 here, 4 there. All right? I'm going to see what quantities of that respective good I'm consuming, and then I'm going to multiply it by the price. Okay? So it's 2 coffees. How much does my coffee cost? It's 6 rand. All right? So 2 times 6 is 12 rand. Where my tea has a weighted marginal utility of 4. Remember, the weighted marginal utilities need to be equal. Where it's 4, I'm consuming 4 units of tea. I'm drinking 4 teas. So how much is what does my tea cost? 4 rand. So it's 4 times 4 rand is equal to 16 rand. I add up the 2, it equals 28 rand. Luckily, I chose that one for the first time. All right? And that's my correct answer. All right? This combination over here. However, if I had to go, right, and I also need to write this down. If it was, we have my 3s, my weighted margin utilities for coffee and for tea is 3. All right? I have what over here? I'm consuming 3 coffees. And I don't have a pen now. So let me just put it on the side over here. So it's 3 coffees. How much does each coffee cost? It's 3 times 6, which is 18. Right? 18 rand. Okay? Now, where my marginal weighted utility for tea and coffee is also 3, right? But in the case of tea, I'm consuming 5 units or 5 teas. How much does my teas cost? Right? It's 4 rand. So 5 times 4 is 20. So my 18 plus my 20 is equal to 38. What is my budget? My budget is 28 rand. And that is why at the marginal utilities, weighted marginal utilities for tea and coffee, where that's 3. Yes, it's consumer equilibrium, but it doesn't fit my budget. Right? 38 is too much. I can't afford that combination. That's why that is wrong. So then the question reads as follows. If his income is 28 and the price of coffee is 6 and the price of tea 4 rand, how many cups of coffee must he buy to reach maximum satisfaction? They're asking about the cups of coffee. So I'm consuming 2 units of coffee, right? Therefore my answer is 3 over there. Okay. Can we pause quickly and just ask any questions around this? Does everybody understand? Thank you for that, Martinez. See you teaching me something over there. Control and shift, plus and minus. Does everybody understand this? Yes, Lauren, you're welcome to unmute. Lauren, are you good? Oh, you left your hand on. Okay. And I love Susanna's gift over there. Okay, so the next question, do you guys want me to go through this, or yeah, you know, when it starts off, like I said over here, it's 2020, the first line for the units of labor. That first line is exactly the same, okay? Because I add in a zero over there, when I say a zero, at units of labor zero, my total product will be zero, my average product will be zero, and my marginal product will be zero. And then I just use the formulas, right? But if you want to just work it out quickly, I'm saying to you that all these numbers over here is going to be the same, okay? And the reason for that is if you work backwards using the formula, you're going to find that the first line is the same, okay? And then what I did after that was, so then I had 20 over here, all right? I know that for my marginal product, right, it is the change in my total product divided by my change in my units of labor, right? So it's 45 minus 20, which is 25, and 2 minus 1, which is 1. 25 divided by 1 is 25, right? My average product over here is my total product divided by my units of labor, pardon, which is 22.5. So now I've got all of these over here, right? Then what I do is now work out my marginal product again. I'll work this out over here. Okay. I say 66. Right. Now I'm working out my change in my total product divided by my change in my units of labor. I'm saying 66 minus 45, that's 21. 3 divided by 3 minus 2, which is 1. So it's 21 divided by 1 is 21. Similarly, I'm saying 66 divided by 3 is 22. Okay. Now I need to work out what's the total product. What is the total product? Right? There's two ways I can do that. And I'm cheating here a little bit, but I'm going to show you a quick way. Right? I'm saying to you, okay, just easy and simplest way to work it out. Right? If I know that it's the total product divided by my units of labor to get my average product, I know that if I work it out differently, right, to get my total product, I just need to multiply my average product multiplied by my units of labor to give me this over here, right? Once I got that, it's the difference between these two to get 18, right? So change in my total product divided by my change in my units of labor, okay? So now I've got 84, and I've got that answer over there. Then I've got the 100, and these aren't filled in. So to get my average product, I know that it's 100 divided by 5. My total product divided by my units of labor to give me the average product, which is 20. Okay. How do I work out my marginal product? I say, okay, fine. It is the change in my total product divided by my change in my units of labor. It's 100 minus 84, which is 16, divided by 5 minus 4, which is 1. 16 divided by 1 is 16. Okay. So now I don't have these filled in over here. Right? But can you see over here? That plus that is equal to this. 20 plus 25 is 45. 45 plus 21 is 66. 66 plus 18 is 84. 84 plus 16 is 100. 100 plus 14 is 114. Once I got the 114, I divided by 6 to get my average product. That plus that is equal to this. This plus this is equal to that. That plus that is equal to that over here. That plus that is equal to this. A quicker way to work through it. Does it make sense? And now you're going to say to me, what are you doing, Gershon? So now, when you guys see that in the exam, you're going to be like, oh my head. Don't try and make things too difficult for yourself. Okay. Are we good with that now? So the total product of 4 units is 84. The answer here. And the answers are all in there already. But at the same time, they're giving you all the units. Look at 20, 80, 84. It's all the stuff that's in there. So they actually, yeah. If you think about it, marginal product of the 5th unit is, then you can kind of check if your answers are correct. And then in terms of this one over here, all right, use the table below to answer questions 29 and 30 that follow. All right. So, how did I start off? Okay. I've got my average fixed cost over here, average variable cost, average cost. Average fixed cost plus average variable cost is equal to average cost, average total cost. Total fixed cost plus total variable cost is equal to total cost. That's adding them up to equal one another over here. Okay. Yeah, see, I didn't add in the last one over there. Sorry. So that is 690. Should be the answer here on the far right hand side. Okay. So when we start off, average fixed cost plus average variable cost is equal to average total cost or average cost, right? So 50 plus 60 is 110. All right. So how I actually found out the 50 over there, and remember it's going to be the same at each level of output. I took the total cost of 240 minus the 190 to get my 50 over here. And your total fixed cost is going to be the same. Going to be the same at each level of output. Okay. Total fixed cost. Total fixed cost is going to be the same. Right? And then you just start adding and subtracting. Okay. And that's relatively that's not too difficult. Let me just go to the front. Actually, let me just try and see more of the difficult questions. A little bit of this one over here. Let me try and make it a little bit smaller. Maybe 75. Right? Can all of you see that? Let's just make it bigger. Let's just go through this. Question 23 is based on the following diagram of the total utility of the consumption of beer by Peter. Okay, so on the vertical axis over here, we've got total utility denoted by TU. Okay, we've got units of beer on the horizontal or the x-axis. So you can see your diminishing marginal utility happening over here. It's increasing at the increasing rate, and then it's then it starts your diminishing law of returns plays into a factor over here. So it's increasing, but then it starts at a decreasing rate. Okay, until it reaches maximum utility and then it starts decreasing over here. So what I did was initially over here, and this confused me a little bit with the numbers. I think it was maybe a bit too close to one another, but I took that as 12, and I took that as 22, and then 30, 57, then 42, 45, 46, and 50. Right? So this is total utility. Remember, right? Marginal utility is my change in my total utility divided by my units of beer, my quantity. Can you see my quantities over here is just 1? If the change in it is just 1 every time. So what I did was, I said, okay, now fine, 22 minus 12 is 10, divided by, right, 2 minus 1, which is 1. Right? This change at the bottom is going to be 1 every time. So I'm just saying this number the whole time. So then I worked it out. It's 10, it's 8, it's 7, it's 5, it's 3. Can you see that your marginal utility is decreasing? Right? So as the number of units of beer consumed by Peter increases from 1 to 7 units, right? From 1 to 7 units over here, right? I've reached my maximum utility, right? His total utility increases, which is right? But his marginal utility decreases. So I physically worked it out myself, right? A lot of people will think, no, it's also still increasing, right? But it's answer number 3 over here. Okay? And then question 24 reads as follows. Given the prices of goods and services, which of the following indicates consumer equilibrium, right? The consumer spends his or her income in such a way that the weighted marginal utility, the marginal utility per rand spent, is the same for all goods. That's what we showed over here, right? That's all good. So see, we don't have a lot of time left. I'm going to leave maybe 5 to 10 minutes for us to talk a little bit towards the end. So I'm just going to rush through some of the questions. So yeah, you can work through it, but if there is no other questions, let me just check. If there's no hands, is there any comments you guys want to make quickly? Susan, you're saying, Susanna, you're saying that you're lost. What are you specifically lost about? If you just want to mention it to me. Are you still there? If there's no, yeah, what are you specifically confused about? Okay, you see the one graph. Okay, no worries. So question 18 reads as follows, and I did go through this before, but chances are they might ask you this in the exam, right? So it says the demand for a product is given as quantity demand is equal to 100 minus 5p, right? And the supply is given as the quantity supplied is equal to minus 20 plus 3p. The equilibrium price of the product is now when we know when is it in equilibrium, right? When your quantity demand is equal to your quantity supply. So we make them equal, and then we solve for your P over here, which is your equilibrium price. Got it? And if you wanted to find the equilibrium quantity, all you're going to do is you're going to simply put that 15 into any one of these equations to get your equilibrium quantity. When I say this over here, sorry, not here, you're going to take that 15 rand and put it in any one of these to get your equilibrium quantity. Doesn't matter if it's QD or QS, because remember that they're equal. They're equal, so it's going to be equilibrium quantity. Okay? Yeah. What I want to do now is I just want to go through. I think this is the first question is self-explanatory. Yeah. The second one over here is a bit more difficult. Right? So unemployment will cause an economy to produce inside its production possibilities frankly. Okay. In other words, it's an inefficient use of its resources. Okay. They are going to ask you questions about the production possibility curve or frontier. Right? A production possibilities frontier or curve shifts outward when the economy experiences economic growth. When the economy experiences economic growth, it's not the desires of the economy citizens change. At least one of the basic principles of economics is violated. Opportunity costs are lessened. Now, what they essentially meaning is that you can produce more of those goods or services, like using your factors of production or your resources, right? Essentially, what a production possibility frontier or production possibility curve shows is the maximum possible output combinations of two goods or services an economy can achieve when all its resources are fully and efficiently employed. In other words, used. Okay. And then the question number 3 is a production possibilities frontier shifts outward. Okay, no, sorry, I did have a question. And then question 4 is based on the following diagram. So essentially with the points A, B, C, and D. Point A over there is inefficient. It's inefficient, right? You can attain it, but it's inefficient. C and D are efficient because they are combinations, right? On your production possibility frontier, right? D is unattainable. You can't. It's outside. Okay. So the question reads as follows. Celia is a potato peeler for canned foods. She decides to leave her job and instead work as a seamstress at Cover Up Clothing. This would cause, now remember, look at this over here. Is food, so she was a potato peeler, all right? Canned foods, right? She then decided to leave her job and instead work as a seamstress at Cover Up Clothing. Clothing is your clothes, right? So what essentially is she doing, right? So the questions, so it reads, this would cause an outward shift of the production possibilities curve. Now, an inward shift of the production possibilities curve, that's also wrong, right? Because she's moved from producing food to producing clothes. Her labor has been reallocated to clothing production. Okay. So in other words, utilizing, and remember what the Celia's her labor is a factor of production. It's a resource for the economy. Okay. And remember what we said? What is the definition? When we talk about a production possibility curve, right? It shows all the maximum possible output combinations of food and clothing production, right? An economy can achieve when all its resources are fully and efficiently employed. So with Celia moving from producing food to producing clothes, she's moved it's a movement along the production possibilities curve. Okay. You can go through the rest of these. Yeah, let's stop over there and let's just have a general conversation quickly. So I have sent this through to everybody. Yes, Jolene? You can unmute.
Hi, Gershwin. Can you just explain to me why that will be a movement on the curve? Because normally a movement on the curve will be if it's a price change, and then a shift will be obviously with factors. But now that's a movement on the curve.
Sorry, I was on mute now. Thank you very much for that. Remember, we're talking about the production possibilities frontier, eh? We're not talking about demand and supply now. So what we're doing over here is, and that is why I put the definition up over here, right? What I'm saying, it's a movement along the production possibilities curve. It's a movement along. So we're moving from here further to this side. Does that make sense?
That makes sense, yes. Thank you.
No, it's a pleasure. So yeah, let's just have a general chat. Let me just see from Any other questions over there? Because I've sent this to you guys already. If there's any other questions, then we can maybe take it. We can chat about it now. Maybe I just for Queen, especially for Queen, question 14 over here. Let me just mention this. Okay, the price it reads as follows: a higher price for torches would result in an increase in the demand for torches, a decrease in the demand for torches. A higher price. So when we're talking about a higher price for torches, then I start thinking when I start talking about demand, then I think about the law of demand, right? When you increase your price, what happens? Your quantity demanded is going to change. When you talk about price and quantity demanded, you're not talking about demand. It's the quantity demanded. Pardon? So that is why 1 and 2 is wrong. Okay. So then it goes to demand for batteries. Now you know, and I know, that you need to use a battery. You need to use a torch and a battery. Otherwise, your torch won't work. So they are complementary goods, right? So now I said, okay, fine. My price for my torches increases, which means that my quantity demanded for my torches is going to decrease. And remember that torches and batteries they go together. So if the quantity demand for torches is going to decrease, my demand for my batteries is also going to decrease. So that is why it's number 4 over there. A decrease in the demand for batteries. Queen, does it make more sense? Jolene, is that an old hand or a new hand? Queen, maybe you can just put on the meeting chat over there your thoughts on that. And I'm going to put the attendance register in here again. Yeah, I was really hoping to have more classes. Colleen, you're saying I can't see touch 7 in the WhatsApp messages. I don't understand.
I've managed to find 1, 2, 6, and 3, and 4. I assume there's a 5, and I assume there's supposed to be a 7.
One of the classes, that's why we actually are having an extended class this evening, is because there was one class that I couldn't make, that I actually cancelled or rescheduled. The one is a little bit confusing. Some P-way, this one is a little bit confusing because I thought that the demand for torches will decrease. I feel the same on that one. Are you two of you talking about the same over here? Okay, so let's go back to that question again, right? And guys, please fill in the attendance register. So let's revert back to that. Okay. So what I'm saying to you over here, what is the law of demand? The law of demand says to you that if the price of a good or service increases, the quantity demanded will decrease. Right? The quantity demanded. Right? Okay. A higher price for torches would result in a decrease in the demand for torches. Right? We're talking about quantity demanded. If I had said a decrease in the quantity demanded for torches, then the answer would have been right. Right? But that is why I said over there, when I explained early on, I said to you that a higher price for torches would result in a decrease in the demand for batteries because they are complements. Does that make more sense? Martinez, I just added it on top over here, link to attendance register. It's in the meeting chat. Yes, Jolene, you're welcome to unmute.
I think what's confusing is because number 2 and number 4 is worded exactly the same. So both is saying decrease in the demand for torches or decrease in the demand for batteries. So how will we distinguish then if they are asking for demand or for complements, basically?
Okay. Thank you for your question or for your comment. Okay. So I'm gonna put this different to you guys now, right? When we talk about the law of demand, right? We are talking about your price changing and then having an impact on or an impact on your quantity demanded, right? Do you guys, are you following me with that? Right? So when I'm saying, if that's what I'm saying to you, with the second option over there, had they said a decrease in the quantity demanded for torches, right? Then I would have said that answer was right. It's in terms of the terminology over there, because you must remember. Sorry, Jolene.
No, I just want to say that it actually makes sense if you think about it, because the batteries will be a non-price factor, which will end up in a demand change. And if you think about the torch, that will be the quantity demanded.
Yes, no, 100%, 100%. And that is what I'm trying to convey over here, because if you read this question initially, I mean, I would have also chosen 2. So it is a bit tricky, but if you understand that, and that's why I put that over here, your price of torches, your quantity demanded of torches, and then relating it to the decrease in the demand for batteries. Okay, I hope it makes sense. Yeah, I see your hand is still up, Jolene. Is there any other last comments? So yeah, just before we say goodbye to each other, I really sincerely hope that everybody enjoyed the classes, that you have taken some value out of it. Yeah, I would have liked to have had additional classes. I know we started off, yeah, so the online. It does mean that it does take a little bit longer, okay, to try and explain things because of the medium. But that is why I actually thought, okay, fine, let me try and work through some of these examples, these exam papers, okay, and then send that through to you. Like I said to you previously, use that ECS 1500 exam that I forwarded through to you guys. For those of you that are new, try and get a hold of Cameron so that, yeah, there's some, so she can maybe forward those through to you. And then, yeah, make use of it, because it gives you a nice introduction to, it covers all the introductory stuff for this course up to elasticity, okay? And that lecture was that let me rather say that material tests you very, very well. So then once you come to your normal exam, you will actually understand it a bit better, okay? So yeah, I see. Now there's a question over here. Thank you very much, Sana. I came across a question where it was asked, what factor of production is computer software? So the fifth factor of production is technology, right? But of course, it depends how they're going to put it in the question. So the factors of production is labor, it's capital, land, natural resources, entrepreneurship, and the fifth one is technology. Okay. So other than that, guys, thank you very much for the class. Best of luck to you in a month's time with the exam, and keep well. I hope to see you for ECS1601. And no, I hope so. I know it. I know that you're going to do well and you're not going to stress and you're going to use all of the resources and you're going to say to me, Gershon, thank you very much. And everything's going to be, yeah. So I'm wishing all well. If I don't chat you or see you guys again, have a blessed Christmas and keep safe. Thank you, guys. And just fill in the last of the attendance register for those of you that haven't filled it in yet. Cameron, you're welcome to say, to unmute.
Hi, Gershon.
Hi there.
I wanted to ask, was there a PowerPoint for tutoring number 7?
No, it was just the exam.
Perfect, thank you. Because everyone's asking me for tutoring number 7. I'm just very confused.
No, it's fine. What I'm going to do is there's additional notes. I will send it through tomorrow. Whatever I have on my side, I'll forward it through to you tomorrow. Okay, because of course we didn't get through to them, or actually cover that material. So I'll forward whatever I have through to you. For Jolene, especially those Excel spreadsheets that you can work through, and then you have access to those. Okay,
Thank you so very much.
it's a pleasure. Thanks, guys. Have a good evening further. Is there no other comments or is everybody cool? With that, thank you very much. Have a beautiful evening further. Good luck, guys. I know you'll do well. Don't stress.
Thanks, Gershon. Bye.
Bye-bye.